What is going on, guys? Craig1287 here, bringing you some Battlefield 4 gameplay. This is a little different than normal. As you can tell, this is not my footage. This is going to be a collective of Jack Frags and LevelCap Gaming. They went to an event, I believe, overseas in the UK, and they got to play some Xbox One gameplay of the upcoming DLC for Battlefield 4 for the Second Strike DLC, which will be bringing back the 4 maps from Battlefield 3. And here we are seeing Jack Frags playing on the new Caspian Border, and as you can see, he is using the F2000, and you'll see that the scope there is, I'm guessing, the default scope. And pretty interesting, and I'll get to an aspect of that here in a bit when we see it in the video. But this is actually the tower has now been relocated from, I believe it was Alpha Point in Conquest Large, to now at Hilltop. Right there, you'll see it's a slightly different tower, but still collapsible. Now it is triggered from underneath. You'll see there was a screen that was detonating. And just look at this. That is so tight how the flame, I'm guessing it's like a fuel leak or something that would cause it to explode as it does. And you'll see a sniper up there. One of his teammates did die. So that's good to know that that'll happen to those types of people. But and it collapsed differently. Notice how that collapses this direction towards what was normally Echo. In Conquest Large, and you can actually go through it. This is pretty cool. This adds a nice little way to get up there and provide cover from snipers and vehicles. It can't take you out rather than that normal path that you can go up. And here you can see some more footage of the scope. And just look at the map is just beautiful. It really is. Without the blue, covering up everything, but just getting to see the trees in like an autumn color type of setup. And, there it is, F2000 Reflex RDS. So, it's nice to know that there are going to be other scopes. At first, when I saw this, I kind of got the perspective that this was how some guns don't have a grip as an attachment. I thought that maybe the scope I was on here would be the default one and always on, but that is not the case. You are going to be able to unlock, and I'm guessing, equip other scopes. So that is pretty cool, but it's a cool looking sight. From a practical standpoint, it takes up a lot of your screen real estate. It does make it difficult to see things at the side of what you're looking at, and here he gets knifed. But very interesting gameplay, and here you can actually see the border itself where the wall is. And here in a bit, you'll pay attention. You can also see that it is no longer the same game type as the footage was earlier. It is now the I don't know if this is Conquest Large, but it's only 4 capture points, which seems weird, seeing as how there were 5 in vanilla BF4 Conquest Large. And you saw some of the levolution there, showing that you can open up those little blockades for vehicles to not be able to go through. Here is the elevator that takes you up to the tower at the top of a hilltop. So there will probably be claymores and C4 planted there to prevent people from sneaking up on the snipers that are up here. And just look at the size of everything here. He's about to look over. Look at the size of those people down there. They are just ants. So this is pretty darn high up. And here, this is what I was talking about. All right, notice how earlier it fell towards Echo objective, and then it was a different game type. In this one, it falls towards where Bravo is. I believe it was called Checkpoint. And it actually falls onto the wall, which opens up a new segment, making it less of a bottleneck. So, very interesting. Now, moving on, here is LevelCap's footage, and this is showing off the new Metro, and just something about this gave me a Metro Last Light vibe. Don't really know why, it's just the visuals of it have that kind of post-apocalyptic feel. Now here, obviously, this is sped up just for the sake of time. This video is already, 10 minutes long, so I wanted to get it, short enough as I could. And you'll notice there's a lot of grass coverage, so this is going to make going prone very interesting. And it's also just interesting seeing the terrain deformation, since we had that in the Battlefield 3 beta, and then was taken away. Now we actually have it back, so it's kind of come full circle. Very interesting to see that aspect. And now look at, you'll see these rocks here. Those are obviously a lot larger. So we've got the extra grass added, and this grass is, as he turns, flammable. You can light it, and it's very dynamic, similar to how Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 3 did their grass. It seems like it travels a little slower than it did in those games. And this will damage you and some of the map. You'll see here he turns and it takes out part of that wall, and there he took damage. So very interesting to see how that is going to be handled in terms of how much it damages you. Now he does start to move on to the interior of the metro, and it is a little flooded. Nothing that really impedes your speed, it doesn't look like. Here's some of the levolution where you can cause these things to topple. And it does damage, and certain of these bits, notice how much gravel and dust gets kicked up in the air. I see that being used less to kill people, which it can do, as you'll see right here. But more as just a tool for attackers to create better smoke than what the actual smoke grenades can do. So if I'm ever on a defenders, I'm going to go ahead and take these out quickly before, if this is rush, before the attackers ever really get a chance to use them at the time that would help them to smoke screen. Now here is one of the new flanking routes. Very excited about this. Metro was one of my least favorite maps from BF3. Not because of the map itself, but because of human beings. They like to do 64-player meat grinder, and that's what this map was typically used for. I liked this map if it was 24 players in Rush or Conquest. It was great for 24 players because that's how it was designed, I think. And yeah, and the flanking just wasn't enough. Here you'll see now it is not Rush, it is Conquest, Conquest Small, and that new flanking route is closed. But in both modes, Rush and Conquest Small, I'm guessing also Conquest Large, you can use these elevators, and they will take you up to the top of where the escalators will open up to. So this will probably be C4'd a lot, but still, that keeps, if you're having to turn and look at these elevators to know when to properly C4 them, you're turning your back to those escalators, which just, it makes it a little easier for you to, as attackers, push up through there. Now here is the other flanking route. I don't see this one as being that big of a game changer. Not as nearly as much as the elevator and that new hallway that was added. This just, there you'll see the old doors that you used to be able to get to. And that route never was really all that special anyways in terms of attackers. It's always the interior of the metro that was tricky. At that point you're already exiting. Now we're back to Jack Frags footage, and this is Gulf of Oman, and you'll see that it is for Obliteration, and that right there was the levolution where the sandstorm comes in and just takes out. Now you'll see that only one team has lost 1 point. Now a lot of the levolution things like storm and things like that are typically triggered at a certain point in the game's progression as to what the ticket count is, what the timer count is, how many objectives have been taken out. So I'm not sure why that, it seems that it got triggered early, I don't know, but, and you'll see as a helicopter pilot, it was really tough for him as he flew over to see stuff at the ground. That's music to my ears as a person who hates getting killed by choppers, but now that you're actually on the ground, here it doesn't seem like it'll be that bad of a problem, and here he's driving like a madman, and he has his passenger is on the gun, which seems to be like the gun on the Amtrak, which is exciting. It's nice to see that having something other than a machine gun that you could never get any kills with because of things just being so chaotic. So, and here you'll just notice, again, slight changes to map design. These rafters added into these buildings, always awesome. And just this shot just looks so freaking cool. Reminds me of the scene out of The Mummy, where you can see the sandstorm approaching. But yeah, that's what we've got from Jack Frags and LevelCap. Those 3 maps. Operation Firestorm has yet to been uploaded by either of them, but very interesting stuff. Can't wait to look for that. And the footage is coming to an end. What are your guys' thoughts on these maps? I love the new slight changes to opening up the gameplay. And here you'll see the Asval. Very cool. Sad to see that it's locked at 21 rounds and not 30. But it seems to be... I'm not sure if this is a PDW or a carbine yet. I'm thinking it's a PDW as it was in BF3, and he's using it with the NG class. But yeah, that's just speculation for right now. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.